Hi, I'm Bill Kanengeiser, and welcome to Hot Licks video for classical guitar. We're going to be talking today about the classical guitar and not focusing so much on the repertoire, because that's really up to the individual player. Depends on your level of playing and what kind of pieces you like to play. But something that's, I think, of more of a general interest to anybody, regardless of what level you are, is how to play more efficiently, how to play with less effort. When I studied with Pepe Romero, a great Spanish guitarist, his favorite thing to say was, it's easy to play the guitar very well, but it's very difficult to play it badly. And what he's trying to say there is that there's a lot of extra effort involved with playing the guitar, not using the most efficient principles. But if you know how to use the muscles correctly, playing the guitar can be really a fairly simple thing, fairly easy thing. And what we're going to talk about is how to understand the way the muscles work and how the body works and apply that to playing the instrument, both in the left and right hands. Now, one of the first things we have to deal with playing the classical guitar is sitting in the classical guitar position. And for some people who've never sat this way, it may seem a little uncomfortable. to have the left leg elevated like this and the guitar up. There are some very good reasons why classical guitarists sit this way. We have more access to the high positions, and the head is sort of in between the two hands, and we have a lot of access as opposed to sitting down like this. On a classical, it's a little harder. But even classical guitarists who've sat this way for years could benefit from knowing a little bit about how to sit in a balanced way, in a relaxed way. And the way we start is first of all, just learning how to sit without the guitar. It's very important that you sit upright in a relaxed way. And also, you want to sit forward on the chair, well forward, sort of like if you've ever seen cellists play. That's how they sit. If you sit back on the chair like this, there's a tendency for your lower back to collapse like this. And it's hard to breathe. And the body doesn't function that well. So we want to sit forward on the chair. And then we want to put the left leg on the footstool. If we can pull down to the footstool here. This is dependent upon your individual anatomy. I like to have the footstool just about 6 inches off the floor. And you want to be balanced with this position. Now, when the leg is up on the footstool, you want to feel like you can rock back and forth and be balanced with this. Now we can take the guitar and put the waist of the guitar on the left leg. Okay, and now we rest this upper bow, the bottom of this, against the right leg. Okay, now the spot that it's touching the right leg is very important. We want to support the guitar right here, and the right leg is very important in that it should support the guitar from going this way and from going this way. So if the leg is too far in, we can sort of lose the guitar that way. If the leg is too far out, if we push down, well, the guitar will slip through there. So the leg should be right about there, so it's really supporting. Now we can lean the guitar back and tilt it back. Now it's important that the guitar face up a little bit, that it point up towards the ceiling. What that does is it keeps the back from dampening out the sound. We can look at this here. With the back dampening, it doesn't allow the instrument to resonate. And also, if the guitar is tilted up, then the sound is going to go up and fill a hall a little better. Okay, so now we've got the guitar supported with 3 points, the left leg, right leg, and the sternum here. And now all we need is just a little bit of pressure, very light pressure, to hold the guitar in place. And if we take the right arm and very gently let it drop, that will support the guitar in a very relaxed way. We don't need to push down with the right arm, and we shouldn't have it too high up here either, because then it makes access very difficult. Also, will tighten the shoulder. But this is a basic position that's very balanced. The hands are in equal access to the head. Okay, so now before we start playing, what I wanted to do was talk a little bit about how the muscles in the hand work. And basically, you need to know that there are 2 groups of muscles that move the fingers into the palm and out of the palm. There's the flexor muscles. Those are the muscles that cause the fingers to form a fist, and they're all on the inside of the arm. And then there's the extensor muscles, and they bring the fingers out. Now, the muscles that control the top 2 joints of the fingers, actually, that muscle is located up here in the arm. And when we contract in the arm, it pulls the tendons coming through the wrist, and that pulls the fingers like this. Now, you can try this. If you bend the fingers just from here and not from here, try to bend one finger at a time, and you'll find that it's very hard to get independence from these muscles. Okay? Now, there's also a set of muscles in the hand, and they control more or less this joint. Okay? And there's an individual muscle group for each finger. So if you try to move like that, it's much easier to be independent. All right. Now, with the extensor muscles, there's no muscles on the top of the hand. All the muscles are in the forearm, and the muscles are not terribly independent. Okay. Now, what we want to shoot for in the way our muscles work is the most independent muscle action. So the fingers can move without affecting other ones. And the way it works is that motion, a flexing motion from this joint is the most independent motion. Okay. Another thing you have to know is that when the tension of the muscles in the flexion muscles and the extensor muscles is balanced, in other words, that neither is pulling in either direction, then the fingers are in what we call a relaxed state. Fingers just sort of sitting there. If the wrist is bent, it's like this. If the wrist is curved, it's like this. But the finger is totally relaxed. Now, the way the muscles work, if we move in from this joint and then let the pressure go from that muscle, the finger will return to just about the same exact spot. If we do a motion like this, little pulse motion like that, the finger returns all by itself. Now, this motion is a very efficient motion in that we're only using energy to bring the finger in. It returns by itself. Whereas if we move from here, we have to pull the fingers in and push them out, or pull the fingers in and push them out. This is the best motion. It's sort of like if you think of a screen door that has an automatic return. If you open the screen door and then just let it close, you're using very little energy to do that. But if you pull it faster than it wants to go and then push it closed, that's like what we're doing with the fingers if we're not moving correctly from this joint. Okay. Now, how do we put this on the guitar? Well, what I'd like to do is show you a basic stroke. If you've already studied classical guitar, you know what a free stroke is. Free stroke is when you play with a finger and the finger doesn't rest on the next string below it. It flies freely in the air. So free stroke looks like this. Okay, as opposed to a rest stroke, which comes to rest against the next string. Okay, now, in order to use these principles that I've just talked about of moving from this joint, the curvature of the finger and the position of the hand is the most important thing. And what I'm going to do is use my arm sort of as a model for this to show how the finger works. If you'll oblige me here, if you think of my arm as my index finger, and my shoulder here would be the main knuckle, my elbow is this knuckle, and then so here's the nail. So this is a big finger and the hand. Okay. Now this, you can imagine, this leg is the string that I'm playing on, and then this string is the next string below. So this would be like, say, the G string, and this would be the D string. And when we're doing free stroke, like I said, you want to play this string and then avoid that string. Okay. Now, we've already said that we want to move from this joint. Okay. And if this joint is pretty much above the string you're playing, then you can do that. You can move the whole finger like this and avoid hitting this string. Now, if this knuckle isn't in the right position, then you can't move from this joint even if you want to. Let's say that my hand position is back a little bit so that the relaxed curved position is actually behind the finger, the string that I want to play. Well, then I have to stretch the finger to reach the string. Now from here, if I move from this joint, I get a rest stroke. Okay? But if you tell your hand, don't do a rest stroke, do a free stroke, what it will instinctively do is this. So the motion's coming from here, and actually this joint is moving in the wrong direction. It's moving away from the fist-like motion. Okay? And if you start playing like that, then you have to pull the finger back, and there's energy involved in the whole motion, whereas this, just energy is involved in the actual pluck. Now, the same thing if you're too curved. If you're too close, then you can't move through without hitting this, and you end up locking this and just moving from here. Let me show you that on the guitar so you can see how it would work. If this is a normal free stroke, now if my hand is too far back like this, then I have to stretch. Watch my index finger. I have to stretch to the string. Now, to move from here, that's a rest stroke, but if I tell my finger, no, do a free stroke, then it'll go like that. Okay? And then I have to put it back down. And likewise, if I'm too close, I can't move through. I have to go like this. Now, in addition to being not a very efficient motion, you might have noticed that the sound wasn't very good. The sound got a lot thinner. That has to do with the way the guitar works. Anytime we can direct the sound of the direction of the string down into the guitar, that fires the string back out, and it makes a warmer sound. It doesn't accent the high partials as much. But if we tug the strings up, we get a real thin sound. See, that's a thin sound. That's a thin sound. That's a full sound. Okay, so that's how the hand should work. Now, what we'd like to do is start to use these ideas, let's get into our sitting position, okay, and rest your right arm gently on the guitar, and start with a fist. Make a gentle fist, and then you'll slowly uncurl the fist. Then just rest your thumb on the 6th string. First, the index finger on the 3rd string, middle on the 2nd, ring finger on the 3rd. We'll start from there. Now, what we'll do is we'll start moving the index finger, and think of it moving from here. You want to test, see where your position is. If you're too far back or too close, it's not going to work correctly. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to lift the first finger slightly off the string, and then we're going to touch and then press. Then we will play and then relax the finger. Okay, so it's touch, press, play, and relax. Okay, now let's combine the first 2 motions, the touch and the press, into just one motion. We'll call that plant, plant, like that. Let's try that again. Plant. And then the second 2, the play and relax, we'll just combine that into one motion of relax. So it's plant, relax, plant, relax. Now you see how my finger, keep going, see how my finger bounces back? I'm not bringing it back, it's just I empty the energy out of my finger and it returns all by itself. It's a very efficient motion, and my finger is only tense for a very short period of time. Okay, let's try the same thing with the middle finger. Okay, just to start to warm this up. Again, place all the fingers down, and we'll think of pushing from here. We'll touch, relax, plant, relax, plant, relax, plant. A few more times, plant. And it should bounce back like that. Make sure the curvature is correct. Okay, and now let's try it with the A finger. Plant, relax, plant. The A finger, you have to reach a little more with this joint to make it return. Okay, good. Now let's try all 3 fingers, a block chord with I, M, and A. And this one, you should really feel that fist-like motion. So we're going to touch, relax, touch, relax, touch, touch, whoops. You have to watch it, you don't bounce back and hit the strings. Touch. Okay, good. That's how that works. Now the thumb. The thumb can be problematic sometimes for some people. With the position, you should always have your thumb position work around your finger position. A lot of people will set their thumb position, and that will mess up their fingers. I think it's always good to get your fingers working well, and then your thumb has a lot of room to move around, and it can adjust for things. We're going to start with the free stroke in the thumb, and just like with the fingers, we want to make sure the thumb moves from the main knuckle. Now, you may think that the main knuckle of the thumb is here, but it's not. The thumb joins the hand here. So instead of moving like this is how the thumb should move. So the whole finger, the whole thumb moves. Okay, so we want to plant the thumb down and play. Again, thinking of it, plant and relax. Plant, relax. It should just bounce back to the ready position on the other side of the string. See how that works? Okay, now let's try all the fingers, the fingers and the thumb in a block chord. And this is really a very fist-like motion. So we're going to plant and relax, plant, relax, plant, plant. You should really watch that you're following through and relaxing immediately, like that. Now, there's a nice little study by Fernando Sor in the Segovia edition number 9 in A minor, and it works on this very thing of block chords and preparation in the right hand. Let me just play a little bit of it, and you can see how this principle works. We're going to go plant, see how I'm landing in advance? Okay, so that's how it works. At tempo, it's okay, so that's how that works. Now, what about arpeggios? Arpeggios is essentially should work the same way as block chords, except instead of the whole hand moving together, each finger works one at a time. And let's try this arpeggio pattern. It's It's a simple one. It's the thumb, index, middle, ring, A, I. So it's P, I, M, A, M, I. Now, what I want to do is break it down a little bit and show how you can prepare fingers in advance and have that make the right hand really solid. What we're going to do is start with the ascending part of it, the P, I, M, A section. And since P, I, M, and A play in sequence, we can put all three fingers down together. So what we're going to do is start with the thumb down, and I, M, and A are
Hi, I'm Arlen Roth, founder and producer of Hot Licks. Welcome to Effortless Classical Guitar with William Kanengeiser. I first met Bill when he and I were creating many of the guitar parts for Ralph Macchio in the historic film Crossroads. Bill played all of the classical guitar in the movie while I created the blues and slide guitar parts. This master class with a true virtuoso was first released by Hot Licks in VHS format back in 1988, but has been upgraded with many features and extra features for this special DVD reissue. The addition of slow motion and looping options.
plant, relax, plant, relax. Now you see how my finger, keep going, see how my finger bounces back? I'm not bringing it back, it's just I emptied the energy out of my finger and it returns all by itself. Relax. Plant. Relax. Relax. Plant. The A finger you have to touch. Relax, touch, relax, touch. Again, thinking of it, plant and relax. Plant and relax. Plant, relax, plant. It's the thumb, index, middle, ring, A, I. So it's P, I, M, A, M, I. Now they're down on the string. Now we can have each of them play and relax in sequence. Make sure my M finger can go down. Then after I play my M finger, my I finger goes down. Then when I play my I, my thumb goes down. And then I start over again. Plant. And then plant M, I, and then the thumb. The I finger, and then we touch lightly with the M. At the same moment as M plays, the I finger will pop out. Then but it's just the opposite motion. 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. As I switch strings, notice how my thumb follows my fingers and like this. And then when you're descending, you want to anticipate slightly the motion of the arm out to the new place. Okay, that's what it is. First, expand, contract, expand, 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 and if you can, whoops, and then contract gradually. Now with 4, now with 4. See how far you can get. Keep it nice and relaxed. Now let's for you. That one might take some work. 4. What we're doing is building up awareness of this contraction. 3 and 4. I don't know. That's a tough one. Okay, so you get the first finger going to the second finger. And 3. Now, 2, 4. Okay, see how that works? 2,